Gene interaction. Genetic interaction that leads to a change in the expected ratio, expected phenotypic ratio of Mendel, which is 3:1 for monohybrid cross and 9:3:1 for the hybrid cross for second generation. Epistasis, which is the non-reverse interaction, such as availability of gene interfering or preventing another gene expression. And why in this case the phenotypic ratio are not similar to Mendel phenotypic ratio? Because there are some interaction between genes, like interfering. The genes like compete to be seen in the phenotype, or they prevent one another to seen in the phenotype. They preventing their expression. So for color of fruit in squash, in pumpkin plant, the white color of the fruit is superior, is dominant to the gene with yellow fruit. So when hybridizing white, so as we remember for Mendel, we said unit factors in pairs. One trait is controlled by only two factors, but in this case we see not two, but there are 4 alleles. So white, when hybridizing white to another green fruit, which full pure dominant with a pure recessive fruit. The first generation was white fruits, like what? Like in Mendel. But in the second generation, the white color appeared in the ratio 12 white, 3 yellow, 1 green. This ratio is different because there's a special interaction between white and yellow colors. We said white is dominant over yellow. So even if there are dominant yellow genes, that does not appear when there are dominant white. So if white is dominant, 1 or 2 genes together, it is not important the yellow is dominant or yellow is recessive, but it's always white color. The father white fruit carries yellow gene that did not show its effect because the presence of white color gene which is superior. So if the white is superior, is dominant, the color of fruit is always white. When it's become yellow, only when white color is recessive, yellow is dominant, it's yellow color, but it's yellow one only, enough to be yellow color. So we can observe this in this example. So a white fruit plant which is pure dominant crossed with another green. Green is a new trait different from parents. The green is appear in the case when non-white or yellow is dominant. So when white is not dominant, not appear in generation, or when yellow is not dominant, it also not appear in the generation, but what appear, a new trait appear as to, we need to remember the incomplete dominance. But between white and yellow, white is dominant, yellow is recessive. So if F1 generation, we left it for self-conjugation because it hybrid for both traits. They produce 4 kinds of gametes. We fix their gametes on the Punnett box, and we solve our Punnett box. When we observe, there are about 12 white-colored fruits. We said that's why, because there's white dominant. In any case, the color of fruit is white. But when there is no white dominant, they are recessive, but yellow is dominant, it is yellow color. It means yellow can show its effect when it is dominant, but white is recessive. But when both traits are recessive, a new trait appears, which is green color in fruit. We said in some cases it's similar to incomplete dominance, where there are no total or any dominant trait, a new trait which is different from parents appear. A second example for gene interaction is about the color or the shape of comb in chicken. This is the genetic interference which does not lead to any change in the expected phenotypic ratio, like ratio similar to Mendel. However, the members of first generation possess a new trait which is not available in the parents. Member of first generation possess new trait which are not available in the parents. With regard to the second generation, they will have two new traits not available in the grandparents. An example of this case is the shape of comb in chicken, which we can see from this picture. There are 4 different shapes. The rose shape for the comb is controlled by gene capital R, which is dominant over a single form. So we can show this like this. The rose shape is dominant over what? Single, smaller. The P shape of comb in the chicken is because of the gene which is dominant, P over the allele small p, which is also single. So capital P, what for what? P plant, also dominant, or dominant over what? Dominant over single, again, which is P. When rose-shaped parents are mated with a P shape, assuming both are pure, a new type appears in the first generation, known as the walnut hybrid. Walnut hybrid, it's walnut, we know what does it mean, a fruit. It's like what? Like combination of rose and pea. Like take a small pea, put in center of a rose flower, and it can look like a walnut. When the members of F1 mated between each other, so we can see it by this example. The P shape, P is dominant over what? Single. Rose shape, rose is dominant over what? Single. By meiosis, they form the gametes. Pure produce one kind of gamete, and pure produce one kind of gamete. So F1 generation, rose and P. Rose is dominant, and P also dominant. So in this case, we need to remember the co-dominance. So rose show its effect, and also P show its effect